What's up, everyone? It's your boy Rock Clever. This is my video for the P.E.N.I.S challenge, post every night in September challenge. Today is day 9, and I have made it. I've made it over a week of doing this, and I seem to always find something to talk about, which is very strange. But today's topic is something I've been dealing with in the back of my mind that I really haven't been really willing to discuss. I've discussed it very lightly on my blog, but this is, I guess, part 2 of it. So let's backtrack. When I first started this channel, I was dating someone, and we were in a committed relationship that has since dissolved, and we are not together anymore. So I eventually will write the details of my breakup, but I won't put that into YouTube. For some reason, I just don't feel like that kind of forum should have that kind of information. My blog, I think, is a little bit more of a journal, more personal. So it definitely will be there probably within a month, because I'm still trying to sort out how I want to write this and why I want to write this, and if I'm being responsible enough to write it, and if I even should write it. I respect my ex a lot. I think he was a great guy, but it just did not seem to sync up towards the end. And I still honestly feel some kind of way about it, and I'd be lying to say that I didn't. But I do. And I probably will feel raw about it for some time. So this video is all about communication. People don't realize in relationships that communication is really the alpha and omega of relationships. It will make or fucking break you. And I think why relationships don't last is because of the basis of communication. I can talk about anything you can talk about in a relationship, and I can link it all the way back to communication. When I'm in a relationship with someone, I'm extremely honest and extremely straightforward. I don't believe in keeping secrets. I don't believe in not being honest. I don't believe in sparing somebody's feelings. And even in regards to sparing someone's feelings, people always link that to brutal honesty. And the truth is not supposed to hurt someone. The truth is supposed to inform someone. And I think people need to get around the fact that just because you're straightforward does not mean you have to be mean about it and be nasty about it. You can say your truth and be very nice about it. But when I'm in a relationship, especially now at this stage of my life, I'm in my 30s. I do want to be married. I do want to have a family one day. And I feel like people, I'm just being very honest, I feel like people just aren't on my level when it comes down to communication. Me being attracted to someone because of their physicalities is great, but in the grand scheme of things, if you can't communicate, there's no need for you to even be here. When it comes down to relationships and it comes down to like cheating, for instance, I will not say, I'll say this, I will not say that I'm opposed to the idea of cheating within reason, even though there's not justifiable cause unless you've communicated that. Now, if you're in a relationship and things aren't going very well, and like let's say sex is absent in a relationship, it's your partner's responsibility to explain their feelings and how it makes them feel when we're not having sex. Or, in the other hand, it's that other partner's responsibility to tell you that I'm in this space and I don't feel like having sex. Even with all that said, if I felt that way in a relationship where I'm like, I don't want to have sex right now, I want to have a break, and I'm just going to be very honest. Being on the bottom side of things, sometimes I just don't want to have sex. Like, I get tired of bleeding and all that other bullshit all the time. Sometimes I'd rather just not. And when you're in a relationship, you will want to have sex as much as you possibly can, but it's not really all about that in the grand scheme of things. Like, I like to have sex maybe 2 or 3 times a week if I'm in a relationship. But if I can't, I'm not going to be bent out of shape if I'm not. But I'm the kind of person where if I feel like cheating on you, I'm going to just tell you. But this is after I have expressed everything within my due diligence to explain to you that I'm not happy in our relationship. But my thing is, even if it comes all the way down to cheating, I'd rather just leave and spare you that kind of heartache. And spare you, honestly, and tell you the truth about how I really feel. I think people sit on their egos for so long in relationships that they don't ever say what they're really feeling. And my thing is that when you're in a relationship, sometimes saying the hard truth is necessary. Um, I'd rather someone tell me the truth and make me cry than to tell me a lie. Like, I'm all okay with my feelings being hurt. And my thing is that when you're in a relationship, you can't expect it to always be perfect. You can't expect the person to always be on top of their game. You can't always expect your person that you're with to have good days and everything be hunky-dory. There's going to be times y'all disagree, especially with um, the recession still relatively still haunting everybody and the job market still being a little funny sometimes. Financial hardships can really, make or break a relationship sometimes. But I don't think it can break it if you're communicating what the problems are. When you say you love someone, and I'm not saying this all to people who are not sure if they're in love with the person they're with right now, but when you say that you love someone, love should be from an unconditional place, and you should be able to say the things to the person because you say them to them out of love. You know what I'm saying? So if I had a concern in my relationship, I would just say what I felt. Like me and my now ex, I'm trying so hard not to play the blame game, but I think a lot of the problems arose when he stopped communicating, and for me, that's counterproductive. I understand when you are trying to sort through things a little bit and people need time to digest, but at some point you have to say that I am thinking through some things and I need some time to digest them versus me trying to interpret your thoughts. And I'm nobody's Jean Grey. I'm nobody's Professor X. I don't read minds. And for me, I try not to think negatively about situations all the time. I don't try to think that, oh, well, he's doing something wrong, something that I did, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just let things be what they are. And when you're ready to talk, you should talk. But my things, when things have gone on for days on end and you haven't said anything, then I have to step up and ask you to talk. But even then, you may not want to talk. And that leaves me in a stalemate of trying to interpret your feelings and us being in a rough place because you don't want to communicate. I've noticed that every relationship that that I have been in has ended because of communication. I'm going to go back to a guy I dated. What year is it? 2013. We dated for 3 years. I was in a DR relationship for 3 years. And in that relationship, I learned the complete art of communication. Even though the relationship had ended, but because of the level of communication that we used and that we were at, we had such an amicable split that even now, after 3 years of being broken up from each other, we're still the best of friends. Like, I can call this nigga right now and he's there. You know what I'm saying? And I think people don't give each other enough respect or don't think people are intelligent enough to handle their honesty and their truth. And my thing is, even if they're not, so the fuck what? You said your truth. You have to be honest with people and not feel any regret about being honest. I mean, when you remove the shame of honesty, you can be completely honest with people. Like, I have no shame in being honest with people, and I am very much aware of people's feelings when I am being honest, because you can easily step on somebody's feelings and not know it when you're trying to be brutally honest. That's why I like the whole term of being brutally honest, because that means you're basically you're gonna step on my feelings and not feel any way about it. I feel like when you're in a relationship and you're trying to be something bigger than what you are and be bigger than what you think you can be, you're gonna have to communicate. When there's financial issues, you have to communicate. When there's sexual issues, you have to communicate. Even if there's spiritual issues, you have to communicate. But I don't know if it's just me who feels this all the time. I feel like that I'm in a perpetual place of singleness because people can't articulate what they feel and articulate it responsibly and articulate it in enough time. And I'm in this space of my life where I don't have time for the bullshit. Like, I would like to really meet somebody. I would like to settle down, take a few trips, eventually at some point tie a knot. And if kids are feasible, adopt 2 or 3. White dog, picket fence, all that shit. But I think that it's such a challenge, and I think communication is not a challenge regardless if you're gay or straight. I'm really so sick of gay men saying that gay relationships just don't work. Like, you don't work, that's the fucking problem. Or you are taking it too personally. you can't have a high expectation for human beings because we're bound to make mistakes. We were intended to make mistakes. So I don't try to take it to heart when people fuck up. I understand when you're being disrespected, that's one thing. But people are going to have missteps. It's going to happen, especially when you're trying to combine two people into one. And that's not always the easy thing to do. So my question is, what are your best forms of communication? What has always worked for you? And do you think communication is a lost art in relationships? So until next time, tomorrow I will have another topic I think might be slightly controversial. So, love y'all. See you next time. Peace.